G'day everyone, Jay here. Just wanted to go through a little project I did not long ago. Someone's asking me about it. It's vegan leather. So this was given to me by somebody at State Library. They've been developing vegan leather using kombucha scum. It's very thin, very pliable. It's actually kind of translucent. I don't know if you'll be able to see that very well, but it's a little bit translucent. And they've used it for clothes, they've used it for all sorts of things. And the guy at the State Library said, hey, do you want to give it a try on a book? So I thought, why not? So before I got started on it though, and this I recommend with most materials you're going to test out onto books that you've never really used before or no one's really shown. So I go through and I use the different types of adhesives that I have to see how they react with the leather on the backing. So here I've just pasted it on with EVA, just like a PVA. It came out fine. This one I backed on some Kozo paper and then pasted on. And then this one was paste as well, a 50-50 mix of paste and EVA. And this one was just pasted straight on. And what I found is they all turned out okay. The paste on its own, and anytime I included paste, I kind of got this yellow marking on it, which I actually didn't mind. It was all right. Kind of just brought through some of the original microbes that they used, I guess, in the producing. I'm not sure how it's actually made, but I was pretty happy with how it all turned out. So I gave it a try where I just backed it on some heavier weight Japanese paper, just to give it a bit more texture and some strength to it, and I was very happy with how that turned out. This the white dots here, you might not be able to see them very well, but they were on the edge of the leather piece that I got from him from the start. So yeah, another test you want to do when you're trying out a new item, you'll see here there's bits that are ripped off. When you're trying out, actually I do this whenever I make a batch of paste as well, but what you want to do is test to see how it adheres to the board in this case. So you'll see here I ripped it off. This is just where I had the kombucha glued. It was just just EVA glued directly to the board, and then you sort of tear it up and see how it tears up, and you see it holds pretty well here. When I received it, he used I think it was Vaseline or coconut oil to keep it a little bit moist. So the first thing I did was I used a bit of rubbing alcohol to get rid of that. As soon as I did that, the kombucha discolored a little bit. And because I'm not going to dye it, I want to use natural colour. That wouldn't work. But I found that it must have been coconut oil or something like that, because after about a week, it just sort of dried out anyway a little bit. But it still wasn't so dry that it was going to crack. Using this, I also noticed that if there's a tiny little split in it, like you might be able to see here, there's a little split. So it's quite strong. Till there's a little split, and it just tears very, very easily. So I knew that in preparing it, I had to be really, really careful. So set to work just making a small book out of, so it's just a small little case-bound notebook. And I just did a full cover in the kombucha leather, the vegan leather. And I found it was very, very easy to work with. Once it was applied a bit of, I used mixed 50-50 paste and EVA to cover this, not just pure paste. And once that was applied to the back of it, it actually became a little bit stronger and very, very easy to work with. And it was actually a little bit of a joy. However, on completing it, so this book's about 6 months old now. I've sort of been letting it sit there and opening it occasionally and seeing how it goes. There's a few problems with it. First, the oils from I don't know if it's from the coconut oil that they had or the actual leather itself, but you can see the discoloration here that's come through the end papers, the paste down, so that's come through. That's not great, but it's adds a little bit of character, I guess, makes it look a little old and worn. These little bits of white came through almost immediately, so whatever was in the paste, possibly the starch in the little bit of paste that I use, created that. I thought it was mold, but it came through instantly, so I think it's just the dried out leather. And when I spoke to the chemist who made the stuff, he agreed with that. The last problem, now it's 6 months old. Here's the hinges. The hinges, so this is just a case bound, a normal case bound book. The hinges are still intact, but I don't see that lasting more than a year. So as the leather's dried out, the hinges have started to crack. Haven't really cracked, but you can start seeing that mark there. I'm not sure how that's going to last after another year. I reckon it might end up cracking at the hinge. I absolutely enjoyed working with it. It was a kind of fun experiment to have. Maybe this one, put a buckram spine on and just use this for the covering, sort of like a covering paper almost, give it that nice look. You can see the corners have actually held really well. There's no breaking away on the corners. It's quite fun to work with. I love the pattern that sort of comes out from the natural kombucha leather as it's done. So yeah, if you get another material of your own you want to try out, just give it a go. Just paste out some samples first. My next step on this is I'm going to take these samples, the one that closely, the 50-50 mix. So this is backed on Japanese paper. I did it in this style here. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to tool some gold foil, and then I'm going to tool some gold leaf and see how it takes both of those items. And once that's happened, this will become a present for Peter, who created the kombucha leather as well. So any questions, leave it down below. But yeah, get experimenting, enjoy the art, try new things, and part of the fun of bookbinding or binding your own books is you can do pretty much whatever you want. Test it out first though. Alright, any questions, leave them down below. Hit like, subscribe. If there's anything you do want me to cover, leave me a comment down below. I'll be doing a batch of paste tonight, so I'll try and record that. If the recording works out, expect a video on making paste. I make a starch paste, so expect that in the next week or so. Thanks.